So we're starting off. This is our third episode, and this is Miss Christy Shriver.
Yay!
Hello. Funnily enough, she's the mentor for this project, so she's in charge of it. So we had to force her in. So
we did, in fact, have to do that. Yes.
She's very grateful to be here.
Very.
Yeah. She has her own podcast, actually. How to Love Lit podcast. Plug. You're welcome.
All the places you get your podcasts.
That's right.
I'm getting bonus points. Okay. So first, to start off, we're going to start with the age-old question. What is your favorite color?
Red. It hasn't always been red. I used to like blue, but blue's too invisible, so I went with red.
Invisible.
I like that answer.
All right.
Oh, yeah. What was your inspiration for you teaching? Did you always want to teach, or was there something that pushed you to do it?
Well, no, originally I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to go to law school, so I got a degree in political science and Russian. My senior year, I decided to get married, so I thought, well, maybe I want to have a fallback plan. And then I picked up another degree in English, just in case. And then after graduation, wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And we had this opportunity. I went to Japan to teach businessmen English for a year, and I did that. And I liked English, and so when I came back, I went and got my master's degree in English, and I just fell into it, and I've always liked it.
Ms. Shriver, how many places in the world have you been?
I've been to a lot of places. I couldn't count, but it's been a lot. I like to travel.
She used to live in Brazil.
I grew up in Brazil. I was in high school. Well, junior high, we lived in Africa. My parents were missionaries when I was a kid. So we traveled. We didn't travel. We lived in a couple of places. And once you start traveling, you get the bug. And I raised my kids traveling, and that's just what we do. Over Christmas, I have a daughter that lives in Spain, and so I'm going to meet her in Amsterdam, and we'll spend my Christmas break kind of going from Amsterdam to Brussels to London before I come back and see Gabby again.
Yay! How did your daughter get to Spain?
Well, she had a really good job, actually. She graduated from college last year, but she decided she was too young to have a real job. So she quit, and she found a program. There's lots of programs that would kind of be like she's working at a high school. She doesn't have a degree in English. She has a degree in business, but she works with all the students 7th through 12th grade on their conversational English. And so she's just doing this not as a career, really, just as a break. She didn't get to do, because of COVID, she didn't get to do any kind of travel abroad when she was in college or semester abroad. So this is kind of in place of that, her own version of that. And she goes a lot of places on the weekend, explores, that sort of thing. So everyone should leave the country. I really do believe that.
TM. Put that on a shirt. Going back to the USA, more specifically in your school, how have you seen students change since the COVID-19 pandemic?
I really don't know if it's because of the COVID-19 pandemic, but students in general have less drive, less energy, and less social skills. I think it might be more the internet generation and social media and cell phones. A lot of kids are students, not just kids, but are afraid to have personal conversations. They are afraid to engage their minds. They don't want to explore ideas. They just want to sit and just like wally, just sit and do nothing. And that hasn't always been the case. Kids generally, over the course of my career, even when I was a kid, we were very energetic. A park like this would be full of kids playing ball and jumping around and all, seeing their friends. I hung out in parks every day after school as a kid, and my kids did that. But now people are sitting in front of, and not just kids, me too. You heard my phone ring. We sit in front of our phones, and sometimes that keeps us from engaging the world in ways that makes us more afraid of it or afraid of other people. So that's a negative. On the upside, I think kids, there's a lot of positives with the new generation. They are more comfortable in the digital age. Like, look at you, you're doing a video and you've got a podcast. And so in that area of life, you're way more experimental. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there will be a balance between how do we engage the virtual world and the real world, because they have to merge. You can't have one only, but we've been in this one or the other kind of dimension. Mm-hmm. So your generation is going to have to build that, make that work. You can, like, interviewed my husband 2 days ago on Zoom because it wasn't practical to meet in person. Well, that's a great example of taking your abilities and your familiarity or your comfortability with engaging the internet world and making it work for you in your world. And so I think that is something that we're going to see more and more of. There was a lot of resistance to that. I think COVID kind of helped people like embrace it because they had to. But we went too far. Like, you can't just stay in your house and you can't just stay on TikTok. So you have to come out, and making that work is where we're going to find our balance.
Yeah. Because a lot of people are still stuck inside their house.
Yeah, understandably, but that's not good. And the other, I mean, it's over. So we have to do both.
I did talk to a kid today in my class talking about how he could live the rest of his life in a 4x4 meter.
He said that to you?
House, yeah. He said he could live in a 4x4 meter house with like 2 sets of clothes, a washing machine, a dryer, a dishwasher, and food, and that's it. That's all he needs. He doesn't need to
can live like that. The question is, should you?
No.
There's that.
That's the answer.
Oh, it's important.
No.
Yeah.
How old was this kid?
He's our age.
What? I thought you were saying like
a little one.
A little one. I was like, that's really concerning. This is like a 7-year-old.
He said all he needs is the internet, and he'll be fine.
I don't think he's probably speaking alone. I feel like there's a lot of people that went that way, and I don't know. I don't know if that's good for your mental health in the long run.
It's definitely not. And I told him that, and he's like, I don't care. I was like, yeah.
Sometimes you gotta put the screens down.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to talk to people.
Yeah, crazy idea. Really, really groundbreaking stuff here. But
I'm telling you right now, look up how many people's mental health declined in COVID.
That's true. It's a good point.
Oh, please allow me. Do you personally believe that is the reason for many students are being disrespectful and not caring about school right now? That COVID-19 is the cause of that? You did touch on. You don't think it's fully that.
I mean, kids have always been disrespectful and didn't like school. That's not new. Yeah. I feel like, because of AI specifically, if you want to avoid learning and be stupid the rest of your life, you have an opportunity like never before. So when I was in school, or even when I started teaching, we would just beat people, which I'm not against that. So, do your work, kid, or I'll have to punch you in the face. Actually, you didn't punch you in the face. You paddled them. And so out of fear, they were learning. So it was easier to learn than to get beat. And that was kind of the thinking. And so people were learning against their will on threat of pain, physical pain. Well, that's not going to happen anymore. But now if you want to cheat, like in Gabby's class today, I mean, we gave a quiz. Everybody gets 100 on it because.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But the goal wasn't, because the goal of the quiz was not me to punish the people that didn't know the answers. The goal is how good am I at this skill? And that's something that Gabby needs to know. That's something that I need to know. And if I know what she doesn't know, then we can work on that. And if she knows what she doesn't know, she needs to work on that. So the new way of learning has to be, everyone is responsible for their own learning. And if you're committed to stupidity, you will win. But if you want to be a better person, it's on you to do that too. Because AI can write everything for you. But AI cannot live your life for you. You don't want it to live your life for you. So you have to, if you want to make good decisions, then you need to train your brain to make good decisions. And that's really what school is teaching you to do. How do I engage information? How do I analyze and break down information? How do I synthesize information? Because these skills that we're learning in class, we're playing around with Macbeth. But eventually you're going to break down, graphs and data, and you're going to talk about marketing lipstick or whatever it is you want to do, and you're going to be writing and creating and doing all the things that we've learned in school, but it's not play anymore. You're going to be practicing that with real goals in mind, and the better you are, the better you've honed your skills, the more money they're going to pay you. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. I'm going to play that clip exactly the next time you use AI to make a test.
I do use AI to make tests. They're not good tests. Do you agree?
Every day I raise my hand. I'm like, Shriver.
But
And
there
she rolls her
are things
eyes.
that AI can do for us. AI has to work for me. I don't work for it. It does not control my thinking. But if I'm teaching 4 books simultaneously, and they all have to take different quizzes on the exact same day, and I have no quizzes, that's just what you get, because we're moving on. Because the purpose of the quiz is just, if I didn't give Gabby a quiz, she wouldn't read the story.
Lie. Cannot lie.
So it's accomplishing the goal. It's still working for me.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm still gonna play that clip. So, what do you think needs to be made common context for the day-to-day person when interacting with teachers?
Common people don't interact with teachers, right? Only students.
I mean,
well,
if they're engaging me in the real world, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a person.
I mean, what if a parent comes up to you?
I go,
What do you expect them to know?
I think that's more what this question is.
Oh, okay.
Well, we haven't had any response like that though. I like that. That's a
We're gonna anyway think that surface level about that question.
Yeah.
Well,
we might have to
most. And this is different from every teacher, but what I try to communicate to every student and to every parent is, I'm not against you. You may feel that way if I bleed all over your paper or tell you didn't do something right. It's not because I don't like you. It's not because, in fact, it's because I do like you. Because I want you to be the best version of you that you want to be. And if I can help you, then that's what I want to do. So I don't really everybody in my class, no teacher is in there trying to fail anyone. If you fail a class, you tried so hard to fail that class that there was nothing that teacher could do to stop you. And that teacher relinquished and said, if you insist, you shall fail. But every teacher I know at our school they show up every day to help students become the best versions of themselves so that they can go out and do great things. Mm-hmm. That's everyone's goal. I feel like sometimes maybe we don't communicate that, or teachers have PTSD from school and they see crazy eyes, and maybe we have crazy eyes. I can have crazy eyes. But in my heart of hearts, and this is true for every teacher that I know, unless they're terrible, is that is not their intent. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to punish you. They want you to be who you want to be. And sometimes the current me, the present me, is not nice to my future me. Because my future me wants to be successful. My present me wants to just lay over and go to sleep. And so my job is to think about the future you instead of the present you.
Have you known any bad teachers?
Oh, I've learned tons of them. Of course.
Names?
No. I have to blur out the school.
We wouldn't have them. Hello.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. We'll put that at the beginning of the episode now. We'll use
big list. Be like, if your name's on here, fix it up. Fix what you're doing.
I tell you about a bad teacher story. So my first year of teaching, I taught across the hall from this woman. She was a horrible teacher. She had a tape recorder, and she would record her lesson first period, and then she played the tape of herself every period for the rest of the day.
Wow.
I think I would take that tape recorder and throw it out a window. Honestly.
You probably would. You'd have to have her first period. I couldn't believe it. And then when the principal came by, she would turn it off, but everyone knew she was doing it.
You gotta be kidding me.
So there are a few.
There has to be some canon event that makes that happen. Like, I don't know. I don't think she started that way. There had
probably
to be something that happened where she was like,
she got jaded.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not doing this anymore. These kids don't deserve like me.
How mentally tired do you have to be to where you're like, I can't
at that
do
point,
it anymore?
I don't know. Maybe
I don't like listening to myself talk, so I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
Ironically, because I do have a podcast, but I still don't like it.
Well, maybe your husband edits.
He does.
I know I'm making Emma edit.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna listen to it with fresh ears. Be like, ooh, these
so nice. Yeah, for you, it's gonna be nice for you. Not for me. Who's gonna listen to it 50 billion times. It's okay though. What is the line for analog and digital teaching for you, and what are the drawbacks and advantages, in your opinion?
The line between analog and digital teaching is like everything else. The technology works for you and not you for the technology. So I have no desire to teach you how to do technology. We do have teachers that teach technology. That's not me. So I teach you how to read and write. Now, we have to use computers because you're creating on a computer. And there's no rule that says typing is less sacred than handwriting. In fact, AP just jumped everything to digital. So did ACT. So that's part of it. But and I tell you what I don't like. I don't like reading online. I much prefer reading paper because I like to annotate and I like to write in books, but maybe that's just old school. Some people don't. I mean, I don't like Kindles. They're fine.
Really?
Like I can read them, but I don't like them. And I feel like it slows me down because I can read way faster. I feel like in paper, but writing, I prefer to write on a computer.
I feel the same way. I just don't like reading stuff online. Like partially because I just don't like looking at the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, also like I feel like I can read faster. I just like feeling it in my hands.
I do too. Yeah,
like flipping through
for
pages.
sure. Yeah.
I always used to, as a kid, put the rest of the chapter, be like, I have to visualize it.
Exactly.
How
much is
Yes,
this?
exactly.
I'm like,
I agree. Or when you try to find something on the computer, it's so much harder.
well, on paper it's harder when it's a big book, but I don't know. I prefer audio.
Yeah.
Audiobooks.
I listen to an audiobook coming over here, so I do a lot of
book.
Silas Marner by George Eliot.
Well, yeah. Hey, those of us who watching, the 4 people watching who may have read that book.
Hey,
this is for y'all. This is the Silas Marner episode.
In the comments, we will for
yeah,
sure
let us know. We'll check it out. Let us know if we should read the book.
I don't know. Audiobooks just in 2 times speed. It seems like it's so much better.
2 times. I don't go that fast. I go 1.5.
I'm like walking in my house and I'm like listening.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I can't do audiobooks. I feel like they're too slow. I didn't even think about that. You can speed them up.
Go on YouTube. Find it 2 times speed. Actually, on I'm sick. Don't mind it. On Spotify, I think it has like up to 16 times speed.
16 times?
That's too fast.
I might be wrong.
You'll miss
but
a lot of
it's
stuff.
like past 2 times speed on something. And it's like, it's genuinely kind of funny to me. Like, if 2 times is fast enough, keep it going.
You get like a test on the book tomorrow. It's like, call me Ishmael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sick. It won't make me make the joke. Anyways.
It's okay. I appreciated it.
Anyways. How do you feel about students that struggle with connecting with your style of teaching, and how do you overcome it if you do happen upon a student?
Well, unfortunately, that's on them. I don't try to because
really?
I feel like every student, when you can, and this is true, you're going to go into 7 classes a day for 4 years, and you're going to, and however long you pursue your education, you're going to have so many different ways that people do things, and so many times it's not your preferred method of learning. So I'm an auditory learner for real, and right now I'm taking classes online, which I hate because I'm an auditory learner. I would much rather listen to a lecture, take notes, all this stuff about like I had to read a 150-page manual last week. Deadly dull. But lots of other people are visual learners, and they would much prefer, like I was talking to Dr. Filsinger about that, and she prefers like to have in front of her, it makes her study, it makes her focus. She can get the material in her mind better reading it than listening to it. So now when I was your age and when I was in college and I had to memorize tons of stuff, which I don't have to do that much anymore, I had to read it and listen to it, or I wouldn't remember it for very long. So, but that's on the student. And, how am I going to learn? We know ourselves and we know what we need to do. And sometimes that's not the same. The burden is on you. It always is on the learner. No matter, now we try our best. Like I try to do everything I can. But at the end of the day, we all have to make do with whatever tools we have.
I'll accept it.
She has no choice.
I really don't.
I like that answer. A lot of the answers to that question have been like, obviously like do a mix of different things in the classroom to try to accommodate different people. I kind of like that answer because there will be times in life where it can't always be accommodated to you.
I mean, it's probably already happened to you. You probably have teachers that you cannot learn from them, and you have to figure it out.
You find a way. Yeah,
you have to find a way.
Sometimes you don't find a way though,
and then you have a problem.
What is a piece of media that influenced your life at any point?
A piece of media?
Yeah,
we sent you these
kind of a loaded question.
You're supposed to think about this.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. All media. I mean, books, obviously, probably more than anything. I read all the time. I've learned a lot from every sort of kind of book, but that's not the only media. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I used to watch a lot of movies. I don't as much anymore. I do enjoy movies, and I like my husband loves music. He's a music guy. I have had moments in my life that music really spoke to me or whatever, but I'm not really a music person. It's not my primary media, so I don't really know. I'm not a gamer. I mean, I left.
What?
I know.
Shocking.
Wrong generation, but I'm not anti-gamers. It looks boring to me. Like you're just gonna sit there and move your finger back and forth.
Are you just thinking of Candy Crush?
No, I'm just thinking of those games. They go in the room, out of the room, in the room, out of the room, in the room, out of the room. Like that frustrates me. I hate losing stuff, and just to randomly sign up to look for stuff. I've tried it, and I wasn't. It's not my thing. I mean, I know it's very popular. Probably murdering people would be more up my alley.
Yeah, very fast paced.
Maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Just name each one of the targets a student you don't like.
I wouldn't have any targets.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. In your own in the private of your home, I feel like there'd be some. Maybe.
In the private lobby.
Okay. If you could change one thing about the school system, not specifically ours, but like in the big sphere, what would you change?
Oh, I would change a lot. I mean, that's a long list. First of all, everyone would be wearing uniforms, no question about it. I feel like the standardized testing, I do believe in standardized testing, shockingly, but it's super corrupt the way that it's done, and I don't like it. I feel like we do need to keep tabs on how well we're doing. I don't think that what we have is the way to go, so that would totally have to go. I would restructure all the classes. I don't know that every kid needs to be learning calculus. I'm not anti-calculus, but I feel like there are other things that should be more important, things like statistics and other fields that, we should be thinking about. So there's a whole lot of things. I feel like PE needs to be revisited. I feel I would have your butts running every day. So, I mean,
Just
you
let
need
us
to
walk the mile, please. Don't
yes,
make us run.
no, I think you should be in shape. I think you need to teach yourself how to be in shape. I think you need to teach yourself how to be nutritious. I mean, you have to take care of your body. That is the only thing you have. And you only get one. And you're going to be just as uncomfortable and miserable if you don't take care of it. And that's something that we don't really talk about. So I would, if it were me.
Just let us walk the mile.
We used to walk that mile. Need outside time. That's something other people have said. Like high schoolers do need outside time.
And they need recess.
Activity. They do. Like they need it planned.
Okay, I will agree to the recess because that is in a way of what you're saying. But a full-on
that's different.
Gym class,
no, I would make you run every day for sure. And then in fifth period, you should have a brain break because you get tired. Everyone gets tired, and it's too much.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's very much too much, and especially method learning during fifth period is not the way to go.
I know.
What are they thinking? It doesn't help.
I think it does help. I think method learning helps, but I still think you need a brain break.
Yeah, I think method learning is better than some other things they've had us for busy work. Just like in ninth grade, they had us do just kind of worksheets. I feel like the method learning is actually useful. I've actually used it to practice for ACTs.
I'm doing a big thing.
30 ACT.
I'm doing a big thing next semester after school for method learning. I'm for it, but I also am for brain breaks. So there you go. They're not mutually exclusive.
All right. I want to know more about the uniforms thing.
I don't.
Just because you feel like it makes it easier just to come to school and focus on that. That's the argument I've heard that the most.
For sure. And I feel like everyone needs to learn how to be professional. I mean, I don't believe in slobbiness. I feel like if you look like a slob, you act like a slob. Mm-hmm. And when you leave this place, I want you to be professional. When I go to my job, I dress professionally. I want, and you're going to be treated with the respect that you demand. And students need to learn that. A student wants to be treated with respect. Don't look like a slob. Don't come to me in pajamas. How can I possibly take you seriously? Look like a human being and treat yourself with respect. Mrs. Moore always has told me one time, and I remember it forever. She says, "Why would you choose to be ugly when you can be cute?"
I like that.
Yeah.
I think we should clip that. We should use that as a soundbite too. Why choose to be ugly when you can be cute?
I know. Put that on TikTok. Just that.
T-shirts.
It doesn't mean you have to like wear heels, clickety clock.
Yeah.
But you should present yourself with dignity at all times because you want people to treat you with dignity.
Well, also, when I used to dress like that, people would think I was a teacher.
Well, you probably carry yourself like a teacher too. We know you.
What can I say?
You know too.
Yeah, we're learning a lot about ourselves today, especially on this end of the table.
There you go.
We're making a lot of breakthroughs today.
Hey guys.
Guys, let's do a poll.
I don't.
My turn.
Let's not.
My turn. My phone keeps turning off.
So does mine.
It's okay. We'll make it.
Excuse you, ma'am.
Wow. Okay, so if you could change one thing about the another media question. If you could recommend a piece of media to young minds like your students, what would it be?
I can think of one thing that came to mind that you specifically
recommended.
Read. No, you read and you specifically put it into your curriculum this year.
What?
To the AP Lang. The Anxious Generation.
Oh yeah, The Anxious Generation by Jonathan
I heard about
Haidt.
that. Yeah,
that's a great book.
I saw people reading that.
But the book that we read last year with your class, Talking to Strangers, is also really good.
I did actually like Talking to Strangers.
I recommend both of those books.
I fear I did like Talking to Strangers, guys.
What can I
but
say?
it's more of a psychology book. I mean, is
For
The
sure.
Anxious Generation a psychology book?
Well, The Anxious Generation is about the data. So he's been collecting data for 12 years on the impact of, thought he was collecting data on the impact of cell phones, but it actually became much broader. There's going to be 2 more books that come out, not just about the cell phone, but about social media at large and, what that's done to change the way we interact. But what the primary thing that it's done, it's driven your generation to be crazy anxious, like way more than mine. You worry about everything. You're not good at making decisions, not you specifically, but in general. Because if I ask you, do you like my jacket? You're going to pull out your phone and ask your phone. Or, everything is about likes on social media. And so it erodes your self-esteem. And that's not good. It's not good at all. So, because you have to live with a feeling of anxiety all the time. And we don't have that. Like, I don't feel that anxiety. I don't think about what people are posting on Instagram because no one's ever said anything bad about me on Instagram. But if they did, then I would be worried about it all the time. So that's a difference because you people are very passive aggressive, and it's girls more than boys, according to the data, by the way.
Not me.
On the bullying front, stuff like, and it's not just the bullying front, but there's a lot of things. So it's a good book. But Talking to Strangers is a good book. I mean, there's a lot of good things to read out there.
Yeah, I would say read The Anxious Generation probably first from that description, and then Talking to Strangers.
They're both easy reads.
Yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think back to when
I mean, it's not as easy. It's nothing like The Prince by Machiavelli or Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift.
Let's not bring up those books. I actually hate Gulliver's Travels so much. The amount of pee-pee poo-poo jokes in that 17th century book.
It is true.
If you are able to understand that, but then you have like 14-year-old boy humor, read that. Read Gulliver's Travels.
That's for you. Get into Gulliver's Travels. I kind of want to read those books because I could talk for billions of years about how tech companies have spent so much time marketing. Like, I mean, Facebook got in a lawsuit. Mark Zuckerberg has been billions of lawsuits about how, like, they constructed things to be a certain way and to be predatory to certain groups. And I think that's why there's the most bullying, because, like, what does bullying come out of? Fear and insecurity.
Correct.
Girls are the most targeted with that thing because it's the easiest. Like, and just like there's already so many companies that already do that. So then if you make a company that's going to push those companies, then like,
it's in my room, so come by anytime and I'll let you borrow it.
I almost took it one day, actually. Somebody left. They had to buy their own copy. Do they have to buy their own copies?
Yeah.
Somebody left their copy, and I said, if it's here by Friday, I'm taking it because they had been done reading it. I'm like, if you're that irresponsible, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, it's mine now legally. Finders keepers. That holds up in court.
It is actually. It's written contract. You'll see it under Section B5 of my words.
This is not the legal advice podcast. Please do not. Please don't.
We are not accountable for you taking stuff.
Yeah, hey guys.
She went to law school.
No, I didn't.
She wanted to be a lawyer. She was almost a lawyer at one point.
Hey, Charmin did. You can ask him.
He did?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? Oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, finished law school?
Yeah, I think so.
I know who my representative will be.
Yeah. Right. If you're ever in a pickle.
Yeah, I'm gonna call them up. Anyways, what was a moment in your teaching career that you still remember that was a funny thing from your students? I can think of one thing that happened
you tell me.
this year.
Oh dear.
She was obsessed with the demure.
Oh yeah.
For 3 weeks straight after the joke had finished, every single sentence she was like, "It's very demure of you to do your homework. I want to be demure in the."
That's true.
I already hated that trend. I'm gonna be so dead honest. I hated that trend and I hated that word so much. I've only liked that word being used by one person, and that is Fran in The Nanny.
Yes. Oh, Diva.
When she used it that one time.
Well, I do like to pick up on the trend and just kill it.
Squash it.
Yeah, like, gosh, I remember when. What did the fox say? I mean, we killed that sucker to death. That's such a dumb song. And then Friday, wish it were Monday, or no, it's Monday. Whatever it is, that song was just.
I'm getting more flashbacks.
So there's a lot of that's one thing I like about teaching. There's always something funny in the horizon, and kids do it, and it's funny for them. But when teachers do it, it's just. You can see the ridiculous nature of it because it's out of context, and that's where the fun comes from.
Okay, but what has a student done that was funny to you that you saw?
Well, there's so many different examples. I can't. Well, last year we were reading Kafka, which you'll read that this year.
Y'all reading Kafka?
Yeah, this book called The Metamorphosis.
Y'all read The Metamorphosis?
And it is about a guy who turns into a roach. And then all of a sudden, plastic roaches started emerging all over my room. It freaked me out. And
that's what?
Yeah. And so one time I was typing on my computer and I turned my head and somebody put one right there, but I did, and I screamed because I thought it was real. I mean, it's easy to make a cockroach look real. They're so gross. So we had that cockroach epidemic. That was last year. But
I'm going to bring beetles.
Oh.
I'm so glad that they were so excited about the metamorphosis. Because, like, the picture of the metamorphosis from, like, the front of the book where it's, like, the roach in the bed, that became a meme last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so people were probably like, oh, it's the thing from the movie. And then they got cockroaches.
And it's the book.
No, but then also, I love bugs.
Shout out to bugs.
Any bugs watching? Guys. Any bugs watching? I'm knitting a bug scarf, actually.
Tap in.
That's so good.
How lovely. How it's on the tip of my tongue. Starts with a D, ends with an emure. So close to it.
Demure.
I think that's the one.
I hate that word.
We should go back to it.
We should go back to it.
Don't kill it.
It's just phonetically pleasing. It's so nice to say.
It is.
Big fan.
She is so demure.
Very demure. Any adjective comes to mind. It's demure is number one.
Demure is better than Sigma. The Sigma thing is ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to
It is.
I'm not very demure coughing over here. I work with kids, and the amount of kids that have actually said the word Sigma and mewing and what's another one?
Oh,
I don't really know about them until they show up. I just learned about Sigma last week.
They kept you safe.
They kept me safe
because they respect you. Some teachers they immediately they're like, oh, do you know what Sigma is?
Malowitz gets the worst of it, and I know he does.
It's just because it's funny to tell him things because he just doesn't like it. No, it's
because the worst kids pick German, I feel like. Well, not really. It's like either the most pristine kid who actually wants to live in Germany, or it's just some kid who's making
dweller.
What the Sigma every 5 seconds. He will learn how to say it in German just to say it. The most brain-rotted kids. It's they're eclectic.
Strange.
Shout out to the Germans. Not the
Germans. I know what eclectic is. I like eclectic. They are not eclectic. The word is strange. And I don't mean to judge. I'm a very judgmental person, but I don't.
She does judge.
She's judging. I'm feeling very judgy.
She's judgy. I agree.
I'm not demure, guys.
She is judgy.
It's not demure to be judgy. You gotta stay in your own lane. Yeah.
Guys, my judgmental. Anyways.
Let's be honest.
And I think it's your question.
Was there a piece of media that was recommended?
Didn't we talk about that?
The book? Was there a piece of media recommended?
Yeah, I thought we said The Anxious Generation.
Yeah, we talked about
okay, sorry guys. Didn't mean to nitpick.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could create your own course, what would you have the students do?
I have never thought about that. I don't know what I would do.
We sent out these questions. So you could think about these. We sent these 4 weeks in advance, I believe.
It is true.
So
I can't put that on them, and I do not. I don't know that I would. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I like English, I would teach English, but that's what I do. I wouldn't change my course. There's sometimes I wish I could do some specialty courses within English. Like I would love to teach a class on Shakespeare. That would be a lot of fun. I would love to do travel classes. It would be fun to go to England and visit some of these places. Like you might even like Gulliver's Travels if you were studying it from Ireland.
Ireland?
Yeah,
I would like Ireland.
See?
Gulliver's Travels? No.
Or what about The Hobbit? And you can go over there.
The Hobbit I would probably like. I cannot deny.
I just think that would be fun. I think nothing opens your mind like traveling for sure. And then when you go to places that have made great impacts on people and seeing what inspired their writings and what thoughts they had and where those thoughts came from. I do that all the time, and I love it. And I would love to take students to go to Walden Pond or go anywhere. And I would love to teach literature from the actual locations. But that would be a real pipe dream. That of course doesn't exist.
Well, if we had a lot of money, maybe.
For sure. But you might have problems from the math teacher because getting back for third period would be a challenge. It would. Yeah. They may go. You could measure Ireland.
A baguette is 3 feet long.
Exactly.
Probably not.
How many baguettes?
I can fit 5 baguettes in my stomach within 4 hours. That's my math. I don't know.
I don't think she can. That's a lot.
That seems like a lot. Like no nothing, no schmear, no butter, no nothing.
Even with
just like in a paper bag.
You got like 6 feet worth of baguettes. You got little lox, little cream cheese.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna tell you, if I did do that, my mouth would be torn up. Like when you eat chips for so long. Yes.
It'd be terrible.
That would. You know how I got these scars?
From baguettes.
Baguettes, just like the Joker. You have like little like.
Come lick it. Constant.
Oh my god,
that felt wrong.
You see, like the Heath Ledger Joker, I can't do it. I can only do like the old timey gangster voice. I can't do like.
Stay with what you're good at.
Yeah. Imagine a 1950s Joker. Batman. Anyways, we have to move on. We've got off topic.
It's okay.
It's okay. I hope y'all are laughing. If y'all aren't, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's judging again.
It's really a problem. It's starting to affect me, and I don't know, like...
I ignore it.
Hey, guys. Anyways. We sent these questions out before, so you better have an answer. Is there a teacher that influences your teaching in one way, or you went against their way of teaching?
Like a teacher that I had?
A teacher that you had, or that you've seen, or that you work with right now, currently.
Yeah, I had a teacher named Johnny Wink when I was in college. He nicknamed me Frog.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. And he had the word of the day thing going on, which I do. Every other teacher I ever had would give me this long list of words to memorize, like at the beginning of the week. And I would memorize them, but I would only memorize them. I would have what I would call like memory bulimia. I would memorize it and throw it up. But Dr. Wink, he would talk about just a couple of words a day, and then I would remember them forever a lot of times. That word, and one of my vocab lists is the word esoteric.
I like esoteric.
And and he made this chiasmus. Esoteric is an exoteric word, and exoteric is an esoteric word. And I remember that to this day, and I tell them when we get to that word, just notice this is a chiasmus. And I remembered it because instead of learning a ton of stuff, and there's a place for that, we would just think about fewer things and they would just naturally stick in. So ever since then, ever since I became a teacher, I've kind of adopted that mentality. Now, I make my students learn lots of words over the course of time, but we do kind of do it incrementally because I like that better. There's a lot of words to learn.
The last one was over 150 words. Because you forgot to make the test.
Yeah, we had a test with 150 words, all tone. It was a hard test, no question.
I don't want to think about this. She had to curve it. She took it herself, got an 80. She was like, I'll curve it.
AI made it. AI's not
actually,
good.
Yeah, AI. AI. I was sitting here.
It was too much. I couldn't make all that.
Yeah, life's too short. Sometimes you got to charge it to the game. Stay lobby.
But the words were too hard for AI, to be honest.
It was the same question over and over and over again. It would be 8 questions with the same 4 words as like the multiple choice answer.
It was fail. It was a fail.
It was so bad. Anyways.
You live and you learn. I'm running out of catchphrases.
Yeah.
Just make new ones. Get
Can't.
the snail out of you. I don't know. Make that.
Get the snail out of you.
Catchphrase. Get that snail out of you.
Get the snail out of you. Hey. Get the snail out of you.
I think that's your
Oh, really? You're
I think
tossing
That's
it
code
at
for
me?
go.
Ah, sigh. Just hate how judgy you are. If you could, Alright. What change would you want to see come out from this podcast, and do you actually think it will happen? I like the last part a lot. It does feel a little judgy.
It does feel a little judgy. I
Yeah,
feel
like-
like the goal of this podcast should be to teach us all not to be judgy.
Yeah, I like the
To
word of
make
the day.
the world a little better.
Guys,
Yeah.
I
A
think
T-shirt motif. We could make. Don't judge me. Don't be judgy.
Don't be judgy. Yay, you.
Says
TTY.
Gabby. Or say to Gabby.
Alright, guys.
Yeah,
All right, guys.
Gabby.
I think
We're
that last
harping
question,
a lot.
I think
she's gonna
that
edit it.
last question was meant to be a more realistic way of thinking. You know,
Oh, okay.
what do you actually think is gonna happen? Because obviously we're not gonna have a million. We're not gonna have one of those Disney Channel. We're going viral. Everybody's listening to it. Obviously, we're not gonna have that.
Now we're judging
like,
the mouse?
She's
The
judging
mouse?
herself. It's sad.
She's judging the
Mouse.
Disney Channel? The mouse?
Okay, I can.
I
get
don't
to
know.
judge
I
Disney.
think the bigger goal is to, I don't know, whatever you want. Like, what is you? That's the question for you. What do you want? If nothing else, you're learning about the craft of podcasting, which is in and of itself a noble goal. But the craft of podcasting is not recording. The tech is doing that for you. It's what you do after that. And it's not an easy question to answer. And I wish I had the answer. But I do not. So when you figure it out, then you're going to help me
Oh, absolutely.
make my podcast viral.
Oh, absolutely.
I like this. I like this answer.
I'll wear the next podcast episode, which is in 2 days, I think. I'll wear a How to Love Lit podcast.
Yeah. We'll plug
There
How to
you
Love Lit.
go.
I'll be like, quick plug, guys.
Quick
Yeah.
plug.
We'll do ad reads. Just let us know.
Anyway.
Oh, it'll be fine. It's happened before.
Oh well, it's the last one. You gotta hold it down,
Yeah,
and then there's
it's
like
good
green.
now.
Oh,
We're
she's
good.
back. It's not like that was our last question, so
All
it's
right.
perfect
I
timing.
know.
All right, ladies. So it was great.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you so much.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it very much.
We appreciated it.
Of
Third
course.
teacher, isn't it great?
All
It's
right.
Christy Shriver. Check
Yeah.
out her podcast if you want to become smarter in books.
Yes, and a better person in general. And also, all of your relationships will be fixed.
So true.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes, you have just general
my
more
goodness.
satisfaction in life. Isn't that weird how that works?
It's basically
I
a
don't
free
know.
therapy session in like 4 parts.
Yeah. Well-rounded people listen to How to Love Lit.
Can't say it's not true.
Hey.
All right. Thanks, gals.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.